Hi everyone, Nicole Bowman here, and welcome to Fridays in June. Every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be releasing a new video on psychic development, spiritual growth, and life lessons on my YouTube channel. So check back here every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for new videos. And I do want to thank all of my returning subscribers and my new subscribers for your support. I also want to thank all of the new people who have come to the channel, fellow travelers, Facebook friends. Thank you very much for listening to this audio video. So today I want to talk about love, relationships, and growth. And I'm led to talk about this because I read for a lot of people from many different walks of life, some of whom want to be in committed relationships, some who don't. But I really want to look at love and relationships through the lens of committed partnerships. And I want to look at something, and it's a theme that I've noticed has come up here and there over the years, quite frequently actually, with clients from time to time. And I've heard more than one person say, if so-and-so really loved me enough or really wanted me enough, so-and-so would do what was necessary to keep me, or so-and-so would say this thing, or so-and-so would show up in my life in this way. And while there is a certain level of truth to that, there is also another element of that that's not being clearly explained. That is true if you're dealing with an emotionally balanced, centered, and mature person who knows what they want. If this is a person who is emotionally present and they're aware and they know what they want out of life and they're just not going that extra mile for you, then yes, very clearly the emotions, the love, the care is not strong enough to warrant them putting in the work to keep you. But there's another aspect to this. There are people who just are not emotionally, mentally, or spiritually ready to be in a committed partnership. And no amount of love, care, or sacrifice is going to change that because they're not at the space in their life where they're ready to do the work necessary to have that, And so I think that's a really important point to make and note because, I've noticed I've read for a lot of clients over the years, and I've even gone through this myself, where we may have an idea in our mind of where we want to be in our relationships. We may want to be in a committed partnership that's long term. We may want to be in marriage. We may want to date exclusively. And it's perfectly fine. And I think it is a good idea to have very, very clear standards and clear goals for your romance life and for relationships. But the problem comes in when you begin to date and entertain people that are not on the same level as you, and then you spend a lot of time hoping that they'll catch up, right? So you ignore the obvious warning signs that they're not on the same wavelength as you, that they don't necessarily want the same things that you do, and then you spend days, weeks, months, maybe even years hoping that this person will commit, hoping they'll get up to a certain level, and then when they don't, resigning yourself to the fact that they just don't love you enough. When the truth is, they didn't have the skills, they didn't have the tools, they didn't have the ability or the willingness to do the spiritual work in the beginning, right? And so it wasn't about loving you or not loving you. It was about the fact that you picked somebody who was incapable of that, okay? And so that's why for all of us, we have to know what we require in a relationship that is just non-negotiable. And I'm not really talking so much about physical appearance and things of that nature just right now. I'm really talking more about on an emotional level, what you require from a partner. Do you need compassion? Do you need empathy? Do you need a person who sees the two of you as a team versus people living two separate lives? Because if in the beginning of that relationship, and even through the middle, that person is showing you they have their life, you have your life, and the two aren't really coming together, then they're kind of telling you where they're at, and if committed partnerships and relationships is what you want and desire, there's nothing wrong with stating that in the beginning of the dating process and seeing what this other person says. And if they say they want the same thing, their actions should back that up. They should be consistent. They should be calling you on a regular basis. You should be going out. You should be making plans. You should be trying to see if you're compatible. And if so, starting to work as a team to build a life. If you're not seeing that, if they're in and out of your life, if they're very hot and cold, if they're disappearing, if you never know where you stand, if you never know how they feel, then that's a clear sign that they're not on the same wavelength as you. And so I think it's just really important to note that A person committing or not committing is not always about loving or not loving you. Sometimes that is the truth, and the love is just simply not there. The care is simply not there. And no matter how mature they are, they just wouldn't do it because they don't want that with you. They don't want that. But there are instances where a person at their core, is a good person, a decent person. They do care very deeply for you, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, they're not at the level where they're ready to take that plunge yet. Right. And there's moments like that where, a lot of clients will wait for a person, and they may wait days, weeks, months, years, decades. And then the relationship never quite comes to fruition. And you're looking 5, 10, 15 years, and all of this time has passed when you could have been in a relationship that fulfilled you. So instead of dealing with a person's potential and where they could be 5 to 10 years from now, deal with who they are today. Deal with what they want and desire today, and deal with their behavior and what they say they're going to do as well. And watch that. Right. And if it's not consistent, if you don't feel loved, if you don't feel appreciated, and you sat down and you talked to them and you've drawn it out and there's still no change, you have to be able to pick yourself up and move on. And that's very hard to do. I've gone through that myself, and it is very, very difficult to do. And I've read for clients who deal with that. And it's very difficult to do. But, you deserve a relationship that's going to nurture you. And, you have to understand that a lot of times when you wait around for a person to get themselves together or get their lives together, they may very well get it together and then move on with somebody else. And I've read for so many people who have gone through that. And it's kind of like a punch to the gut or a knife in the heart, because you spent so much time being loyal and getting him or her ready and being patient with them, only to see them go in another direction. So deal with people who are ready now. Deal with people who show you now. And don't deal in their potential. Don't deal in who they could be 5 to 10 years from now. Look at the person today and ask yourself today, can I marry this person? Can I live with this person? Can I be in a committed partnership with this person? And are they showing me, telling me, and behaving in a way that lets me know they can do that too, and we're on the same page? So that's what I'm receiving today. I will leave you with that. And definitely check back next Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Fridays in June. Always remember to live your light, live your bliss, and love yourself. Take care, guys.